All right. So welcome back to Coach's Corner. And I want to do a great shout out, a big shout out to the coach that I have here with me here today, our head varsity swim coach. And he's been here for a little while, but I'll let him introduce himself a little bit. Coach Billy Blomn, welcome to our Coach's Corner.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
So, Coach, I have the first question for you. And that question is, where did you begin your coaching career and why did you become a coach?
I began coaching in college. When I was done, I swam at Montclair State, and when my 4 years of eligibility swimming were done, I was still in undergrad. So I stuck around and helped assist the college program for a couple of years. I just love athletics. I love sports. I'm a PE teacher. It's just what I love to do. I love to coach. I've coached all 3 seasons for 22 years here at Newark Academy. It's just part of who I am. I enjoy it a lot. Trying to help kids and athletes get better, and it's just a lot of fun.
So, Coach, were there mentors in your career that you model your coaching style after?
If I had to say somebody, I would say probably Brian McLaughlin, who was my college coach. Probably prior to college, I didn't really think too much of workouts and the things that we did for swimming, and it just kind of they just told you what to do and you did it. And when I think when it came to college, you kind of think more about actually what the workout is in front of you, and doing the dry land stuff, and you start to think more about it. So I would think he was probably a mentor for me.
That's great. So that's a little bit about some of the coaches maybe that influenced you. Let's talk a little bit about student athletes. So, what does an ideal student athlete look like? What do you expect to see in an ideal student athlete in swimming?
Well, I mean, when you first say student athlete, they're a student first. So you want somebody who's going to stay on top of their studies, and that's a great in the classroom, in the halls. But in part of as far as the athlete goes, the first thing I want to see is someone who's going to work hard, someone who's going to come to practice every day, give it all they have, someone who's going to push others around them, someone who's going to be a great teammate, great leader, put the team before themselves. I think, kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of what I like to see.
So, some of those things that you mentioned, Coach, were values. What other values do you look to instill in your players?
Um, Again, we want them to work hard. We want them to be there for each other. We want them to encourage each other. We want them to push each other, make each other better. Even though if you're not a captain, you could still be a leader on the team. And it extends outside of the pool, outside of the football field. Whether they're in the classroom or in the hallways, in the dining room, or something like that. We want um, them to be all around, good student athletes, not just in the athletic facilities.
How has your program been impacted, and how have you handled the difficulties of 2020?
Um, yeah, I mean, for swimming, all the COVID stuff just hit at the end of the swim season, so we got everything in. So obviously, we're getting impacted now, where our season's getting pushed back. Uh, Not to sound cliche or whatever, but you just kind of roll with the punches. You just kind of go with the flow. That's kind of what you do. If they say our season starts this date, then that's when we go, and that's when we get in the water, and that's when we get at it. If it starts this date, then it is what it is. So it's not ideal, but as long as we have a season, I'm happy with whatever the state puts in front of us, and whatever Newark Academy organizes for us, and I'll be ready to go.
So, Coach, this is a little different. There's a little bit of a different question, but why should a prospective student join Newark Academy? And especially since we're talking about athletics, sort of keeping athletics as one of the lenses you look through.
Well, I mean, when you think of student athlete Newark Academy, first of all, they're going to get a great education. There's not going to be many places in New Jersey where they're going to get a better education, have better teachers, have a better atmosphere, a better culture. As far as athletics, I think Newark Academy has some of the top-notch facilities in the state. Not many schools have a pool on the facility. Have turf soccer fields, football fields. And I think we have great coaches. So I just think it's all around just a great situation for any student athlete at Newark Academy.
So, Coach, this is a big question. And you said you've been at Newark Academy now for 22 years. Is that right?
Yes.
So, what piece of advice would you give to a young coach that's just starting their career?
You want to be true to yourself and your beliefs, and use the things that you learned as a student athlete, to coach others. But you also got to be willing to change and kind of change with the times. But I think as long as you put your athletes first and make sure that they are always taken care of and you always have their back, and you always push them, then I think you'll get the same back from them.
So, Coach, I have one more question for you, and I know that this is you mentioned team, and when you think about swimming, so often apart from maybe a relay, it seems like it's a very individually based sport. So, tell us a little bit about bridging the gap between what is seen to be an individual sport and what you're talking about, and being a team and being part of a team.
I mean, it is, there's 11 events in a meet, and 8 of them are individual events. Well, they're called individual, and there's 3 relays. But it is really a team sport, because when I said you have to put the team before you, a lot of people, if I ask them, what do you want to swim in this meet, where do you want to swim in this meet, they would tell me certain events, but you always don't get to swim the events that you want to swim, just because you have to fill all the lanes and in all the events. So people have to really put the team forward, and think about what's best for the team as far as what events I swim, not what's best for me as an individual. So while you're competing individually in the pool, in each event, you still have that North Academy cap on, you still have the North Academy bathing suit on, and it's just because you get first place in one event doesn't mean you're going to win a meet. It's top to bottom, it's a team effort.
So, Coach, thanks so much. That's all the questions we have for you, and I'm going to let you go in just a minute. But I do want to give you the last word, and anything else that you want to say, and then we'll let you go after that.
No, I'm good. I don't know. I appreciate you having me on. It's anytime you get to talk about sports and coaching and stuff, it's fun. I just want February 1st to get here so we can start swimming.
Well, Coach, once again, thank you so much for being here with us today.